Members, welcome to this meeting of full council on the 12th of November 2020. Just a reminder that we are live on YouTube, so welcome to anyone who's watching on YouTube, members of the public, etc. Before we start the meeting, please will you join with me in observing 2 minutes silence in remembrance of all those that paid the ultimate sacrifice for our country and their families. Thank you. Thank you, members. The first item for consideration is apologies of absence. Have we had any notifications of apologies of absence? None? Thank you. The next item we move to
Christine Smith. Sorry.
Christine Smith. Thank you. Thank you. So we'll now move to item 2, which is the election of mayor for 2020/22. Please can I invite nominations for the office of mayor? Councillor Rita Amos.
I would like to propose Councillor Andrea Kay be elected to the office of Mayor of the Borough of Wyre for 2020/2022. And I'd just like to say a few words. Councillors, ladies and gentlemen, Councillor Andrea Kay was born in central Manchester and worked with finance company and the Manchester Evening News for 5 years before starting work for the Royal Bank of Scotland. She has a brother and a daughter living in Manchester and 3 lovely grandsons. Andrea came to the coast in 2006 with her son Adam, and in 2007 stood at the local elections in Wyre, where she was successful, 2 years later becoming county councillor for Lancashire. Andrea has previously volunteered to help children and young people from deprived backgrounds in Moss Side to try and improve their lives, and did this for 10 years. By moving here, she has continued with this, launching a skateboarding park at the YMCA, and 100 eager children arrived. Many trophies were won and others went on to Camp America, having gained coaching qualifications. All this started from hiring a hall. Andrea has been known to set up the skateboarding track with the children in her ball gown before dashing off to attend the Mayor's Ball. She set up summer classes and helped youngsters with their CVs. She's worked hard to bring the community together, also setting up the remembrance tree for lost relatives in Cleveland. Andrea is also a lead member for children and a previous Armed Forces champion. Andrea also completed a charity parachute jump, and yes, she's looking for a new challenge. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Amos. Is there a seconder for the proposal? Councillor Vincent?
Yeah, I'd love to second that, please, if I may. It's my pleasure and privilege to second the proposal of Councillor Amos to elect Councillor Andrea Kay as Mayor. Having worked with Andrea for many years, more than either of us, I suspect, would care to remember, I can assure the residents of Wyre that they will get a tireless champion of the people who will be as enthusiastic as they are in support of the many causes that they hold dear. As a youth champion and having helped with championing the armed forces in Wyre, she already knows a great many of the people who she will contact, and they know her too. She's been described by her colleagues of all political shades in a number of complimentary and not so complimentary ways over the years. But the two of them that stick out in my mind and which are repeatable in public are that she is a force of nature, and from the now deceased former Labour councillor, Councillor Traynor, an immovable object. I agree with both those sentiments, having known her for some time. Not only does she deserve the honour, she is the best suited person, in my view, for the role of mayor, and I have absolutely no doubt that she will do it to the best of her ability, and that ability is considerable. So I have no hesitation in asking you to support the proposition.
Thank you, Councillor Vincent. Are there any other nominations for mayor? No, thank you. I duly declare that Councillor Andrea Kay is elected to the office of mayor for the period up to May 2022. And we would normally give a round of applause if you're all in the chamber, so please can you join me in offering your congratulations. Thank you, members. The newly elected member is just signing the declaration of acceptance, and then she will take over as chair of this meeting. Thank you, members.
I, Andrea Kay, having been elected to the office of Mayor of the Borough of Wyre, hereby declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. I undertake to be guided by the Wyre Borough Council Code of Conduct in my performance and functions of that office. We'll now move on to the election of the Deputy Mayor for 2022. Thank you. Are there any nominations for the office of Deputy Mayor for that year, 2022?
There are indeed, Madam Mayor. Can you hear me okay?
I can, Councillor Moon, thank you.
I would like to propose Howard Ballard, who is also from Manchester. Howard moved from Manchester to the Fylde Coast in 1979. Back then he was employed as an engineer at Farrow Bridges in Rochdale, which from a Google search said they produce rubber products. What the rubber products were, I don't know, but I'm sure Howard will let me know. Nowadays, Howard is a co-op pioneer looking after 3 charities in the local area. And I'm sure, Madam Mayor, his fundraising skills will be a great asset to you in the future year. It's only a short time ago since Howard's health wasn't very well. He's quite poorly in hospital, not feeling well to say the least. But thankfully he's in fine fettle nowadays, ready to give you tremendous support throughout your mayoralty. So it gives me the greatest pleasure to propose that Councillor Howard Ballard be elected Deputy Mayor for the municipal year 2020 to 22. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Is there a seconder for that proposal?
Sean here. Is Councillor Sean Turner there?
Councillor Turner?
Sean Turner.
Sean Turner, can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Certainly can.
Just sorry about that, Madam Mayor. I've just been talking to myself. I've sat on the the mute button, and it's yeah. Anyway, we're all sorted now. There is indeed a seconder for Councillor Moon's proposal for Councillor Ballard, and that is myself. And I'd just like to say a few quick words. I first became acquainted with Howard back in 2013 when we were both newly elected to the council in May of that year. Howard's friendly, personable, and always willing to lend an ear or help when approached. It was clear to me from early on that we would get along despite all these terrible jokes, and we accordingly became good friends as well as colleagues from the outset. We were both appointed to planning committee, a committee he still sits on and in fact holds the role of deputy chair. Anybody who is or has served on this committee knows that normally about once a month you spend all morning on a bus visiting application sites, then you land back and share some cheap sandwiches before finally spending the afternoon in the chamber discussing and deciding the different applications. Therefore, you spend quite a bit of time together, and as I've said previously, despite all these corny one-liners, he would always manage to lift the mood on what could be a long and sometimes intense day. One thing you can say about Howard as a councillor is he takes his role seriously. He knows his brief, having pored over his papers ahead of the meeting. And I know he's well respected in his ward, having met some of his residents. He strives to put his community first and throws himself into local projects where he knows he can make a difference. I know from conversations we've had that he used to take students away at weekends so they could complete their gold standard level for the Duke of Edinburgh Award. I know he also went around the Isle of Man TT course pushing a pram and wearing a purple wig. He also pushed a wheelbarrow from Blackpool to Barrow, all whilst raising money for children requiring organ transplants. It gives me great pleasure seconding Howard as Deputy Mayor, and I wish him all the very best in the months ahead. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations?
No.
No, so I declare that Councillor Howard Ballard is duly elected to the office of Deputy Mayor for the period up to May 22. Councillor Ballard, please will you read out the declaration of acceptance of office of the Deputy Mayor of the Borough of Wyre?
I will do with pleasure, Madam Mayor. I, Howard John Ballard, having been appointed to the office of Deputy Mayor of the Borough of Wyre, hereby declare that I will take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. I undertake to be guided by the Wyre Borough Council Code of Conduct in the performance of my functions in that duty.
Thank you, Councillor Ballard. I'm now going to read out a few words, and then after I've done mine, if Howard, could you do yours, please? So good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome and thank you for showing your interest and support today. I am proud and honoured to stand here as elected Mayor of this great, vibrant, diverse borough of Wyre. I take this responsibility and the trust you have shown in me very seriously. I commit to serving the people of Wyre to the best of my abilities with enthusiasm, compassion and dedication. I'm also pleased to announce my mayoress is Councillor Anne Turner, and I will also this year be different, and I'm going to have a consort as well, which is Councillor Philip Hall. Along with my Deputy Mayor, Councillor Howard Ballard, and his lovely wife Carol, I would like also to thank Rita and Alan for their kind words. As Manchester people are very strong born and bred, so I'm sure Wyre's going to have lots of fun with me and Howard. So the main charity I've chosen is Doherty's Destiny. This is a charity that is close to my heart, as I have personal experience speaking to and supporting families who have lost a young one because of their premature death through suicide. This programme is called the Positive Mindset Programme. It's a course aimed at improving mental health and mindset skills of young people to reduce their risk of developing long-term mental health problems. This programme I intend to promote in every high school in Wyre. Our children deserve the best, and we need to make sure we're there for them. Other courses which I will be donating funds to are Men's Sheds, Armed Forces Breakfast Clubs in Wyre. And the final donation I intend to make is to commission a notice of information board describing what beautiful birds that we can see on the Wyre Estuary, which is a beautiful sight. Last year when I was mayoress, I saw the birds and hadn't got a clue what they were, so I want everybody else to know what they are and enjoy the wonderful sight. I will be starting the Mayor's charity fundraising with a sponsored Slim. That is not swimming water, that is Slim Let's Lose Weight, because lots of people have put on weight this year, especially me. So Councillor Ballard and Councillor Philip Horn have kindly agreed to join me in our sponsored Slim, and I'm giving them to eat now till the 1st of December, because the Slim will be from the 1st of December 20 to the 1st of May 21. Unfortunately, the mayoresses, which is Anne Turner and Carol Ballard, do not tick the criteria to take part in this challenge. However, they have the opportunity to put on at least a stone by excessively eating cakes and chocolates throughout the challenge, should they wish to do so. So if they want to sponsor them as well, they're going to put on half a stone each. I do hope you will support this worthwhile event. Thank you very much. Howard, if you'd like to make your speech, please.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I'd like to just say before, I don't want to take your shine away, it's your evening, but I'd like to just say I wish you well and I will support you, and thank you for the members in your support for me to be Deputy Mayor. But I must say a big thank you to Councillor Paul Moon and Councillor Sean Turner for being my proposer and seconder, and God bless Wyre.
Thank you. Thank you, councillors. We will now move on to other items to be considered on the agenda. The next item is confirmation of minutes. Can I please have a proposal for the minutes of the council meeting held on the 17th of September 2020 to be approved as a correct record?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm happy to propose those minutes.
Thank you, Councillor Henderson. Is there a seconder for that proposal?
I'm happy to second that, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Vincent. Does anyone want to comment on the factual accuracy of the minutes or the proposed, factual accuracy of the minutes? Or is there an amendment?
Councillor Rob Fail.
Oh, Councillor Rob Fail.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Item 10 of September minutes provide an incomplete account of proceedings. The minutes provide a summary of what was said by Councillor Henderson, but neglects to mention what was said by Labour councillors. If this was a trivial subject, then some might think it reasonable to ignore the long-established requirement for a formal, true and accurate written record of council proceedings. However, the implications of introducing a Lancashire combined authority with a number of unitary authorities are far from being an insignificant matter. As such, the following amendment to the minutes is formally requested. The amendment should be coming up on screen in a few moments. I'm sure we'll support the need to provide a fully balanced account of the debate. Should be coming up on screen. Just in case there is a problem with seeing the amendment, I shall read it out. Councillor Beavers asked that members reject the recommendations as she felt the middle of the pandemic was not the right time to dissolve our local district councils and Lancashire County Council. Councillor Beavers suggested the proposals were rushed and that there was a need to carry out a consultation with the residents of Wyre. Councillor Fail referred to the proposition for local government reorganisation in Lancashire and highlighted concerns that this was a single option paper with no other options considered. In particular, Councillor Fail asked where were the options for 2, 3 and 4 unitaries, where were the options for different geographical groupings, where was the no mayor option, and where was the status quo option. Councillor Fail felt it was wrong to proceed with the fait accompli proposition and concluded by requesting that the council undertake thorough discussions, formally review options and do things in an ordered fashion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Madam Mayor. Within the Constitution, members can put forward amendments. That is, in my opinion, a valid amendment. So members would now need to vote on the proposed minutes with that amendment as just proposed. Thank you.
Can I second that amendment, please?
Yes, thank you, Councillor Beavers. We've got you as the seconder.
Thank you.
So no, they need to vote on that with the minutes, with the amendments. So you invite Councillor Henderson to speak.
Councillor Henderson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The amendment is quite unnecessary. The report was about a combined authority and not about unitary. And since becoming leader, all council meetings are now recorded and also at the moment are also on YouTube, which can be revisited to listen to and to see all the words that were actually spoken at that meeting. Therefore, I certainly shan't be supporting this amendment. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Alan Vincent.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. This is an interesting proposition, isn't it? Because members will remember that at the last meeting, the Labour group, to their absolute shame in my submission, voted against supporting the creation of a combined authority with an elected mayor with limited powers in Lancashire, thus slamming the door on potentially hundreds of millions of pounds worth of government grants and investments in Wyre. Lorraine Beavers, if I recall rightly, voted for exactly that proposition as a county councillor in July of this year, in the middle of the pandemic. So I wonder what's changed between then and the vote that was taken last time. Not a great deal, it seems to me. The one argument that they did put forward, which Rob unsurprisingly does not make any mention of in his attempt to manipulate these minutes, is the one in which they said that the real fear that they had was that the county council elections next May would be put aside, and thus Lorraine and her colleagues in the county council would lose the opportunity that they believe they have to take over control of the county council. Self-interest being put before the interests of the people of Wyre. This is a charade and it should be treated as such, and members should totally reject it. It's not democracy, it's the exact opposite.
No other comment? Can he come back as a proposal of the amendment?
If there's no other councillors wishing to speak, we'll now go to the vote on the amendment, please.
So then, yeah.
Henry, you put it off. Right, the amendment has been lost. It was 6 for, 35 against and 2 abstentions. We would now, would members now present vote on the meeting of the 17th of September. Please cast your votes for that meeting, which will now become visible on your screens again. The proposal is that the minutes of the meeting held on the 17th of September 2020 be approved as a correct record. Thank you. Thank you, councillors. We've got 36 for, 7 against and 2 abstentions. The minutes of the meeting held on the 17th of September 2020 are confirmed. We'll now go on to item 5, declarations of interest. Do any members or officers have any interest to declare on any items included on the agenda?
No.
So the next item is now item 6, announcements. I have not been advised of any announcements this evening. This is an opportunity for the leader, the deputy leader, members of the cabinet, a chairman or of a committee or the chief exec to make an announcement if they wish to do so.
No.
Moving swiftly. If there's no announcements, the next item is item 7, public questions and statements. However, no such questions or statements have been submitted. The next item is item 8, questions on notice from councillors. Again, no such questions have been submitted. The next item is the item 9, mid-year Treasury Management Report. Councillor Alan Vincent, would you please introduce the report and propose the recommendations, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Happy to put forward for members to accept. You'll be used to seeing this now. It's a regular feature and it has to go through council. If there are any questions, I'm happy to take them. On the capital programme, there were, you'll see this at 5.5.2, just to say that the increase from 2.7 million capital grants and contributions to 8 million is the beach scheme in Clevis and Rossall, and the 3.6 million revenue and reserves increase from 641,000 is as a result of the delay in delivery of the waste vehicles. So it's just a technical issue rather than anything else. Happy to take any questions.
Say it again, sorry. Is there a seconder for the proposal?
Happy to second that, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Henderson. Are there any comments, questions or amendments?
Nothing? No, so we don't, there's no debate, so we can go straight to the vote. Turn over the next page, turn over the next page. You can skip that bit and you can go, would members now please cast their vote?
Would members please cast their votes using the voting facility that will shortly be visible on your screens? Thank you.
The voting. I haven't got a voting facility on my screen.
Me neither, Madam Mayor.
Members, apologies. The briefing note does say to vote for an approval, but members, you will note, actually, sorry for the pun, that in 3.1 the recommendation is that it is to be noted. So there is no vote on item number 9. Just for clarification. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Am I the only one? Just trying to confuse me on my first meeting, I see. Never mind, we'll now move on to item 10, localised business tax support. Councillor Alan Vincent, would you introduce the report and propose the recommendations, please?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. Again, this is a regular feature that members will be familiar with. The relief that we grant from Wyre to some of our lower paid council taxpayers means that they only have to pay a maximum of 8.5% towards the payment of their council tax. You are allowed a wide range of numbers, percentage numbers, and I have to say that during the pandemic, it appears to be the case that quite a lot of authorities are increasing the maximum payment by their own residents, some of them as high as 40%. Members will know that a lot of our neighbours already were charging 25% or more. We've never felt that that was appropriate. We've always tried to protect the lowest paid residents that we have and have limited the amount that we collect from them to the 8.5%, which is the minimum that we can legally do. We've also been granted, members will see, I'm happy to say, a council tax hardship fund from the government of just in excess of £1 million. And that's designed to support payers of council tax who've been adversely affected by the COVID pandemic. I can assure members that everything which we can do in our power to relieve the burden of council tax upon some of our lower paid and also upon people who've lost their jobs or been furloughed by COVID, we will do. Thank you.
Oh. I may now. I keep coming in too soon, councillors. Is there a seconder for the proposal?
Yes, I'm happy to second that, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Henderson. Are there any comments, questions or amendments? Councillor Orr?
Oh, thank you, Madam Mayor. I was looking at council tax base for the parishes recently and was quite surprised that they haven't actually gone down very much yet due to COVID. But I'm sure in the future months, people losing their income, etc., will increase. And I notice in your own figures on page 24 that the parish and town sector will probably be about 1.1% underfunded. I suspect that will actually go up in the next few months, and wondered if there was any possibility of some help for the parish and town sector to prevent the need for them to increase their precepts too much.
Any other comments before we?
Are there any other comments?
Or questions?
Questions? No? Moving on. Councillor Vincent, as the proposer, would you like to respond, please?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I get the point. Obviously, the figures on page 24 and over to page 25 are the amounts that it costs each of the individual people mentioned in there. Wyre, for example, 214,000. It costs the police authority slightly more than that because they charge more than that these days in direct tax to the people of Wyre. And LCC are the biggest losers, of course, at nearly £1.5 million. So the amount that the parishes lose by this scheme is a relatively modest figure. But if the parishes do need help, then obviously it's something we would consider. Whether the rules will allow us to give any financial assistance, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, Phil, but anything we can do to help parishes that are in desperate need, we'd certainly have a look at.
That concludes the debate. Councillor George, I'm sorry you didn't put your hand up in time before we move forward, so I do apologise, you won't be able to ask the question. Would members please cast their votes using the voting facility that will shortly be visible on your screens? Thank you. Thank you, councillors. We've got 46 for, none against and 1 abstention. The recommendations are approved. The next item is a report of the calendar of meetings 21-22. Councillor Henderson, would you introduce the report and propose the recommendations, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The report is before members. It's the calendar of meetings for 21 to 22 be noted. The only issue to point out, as it says in the key issues at 5.2, the only change of any significance is meetings of the licensing committee will be held on Tuesdays and not Thursdays, as in previous years. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Is there a second?
Is there a seconder for the proposal?
Happy to second that, Madam Mayor.
So there's no vote, is there?
So there is no vote, so that is approved and we'll move forward. Is that right?
Yeah, appointments committee, yeah.
We now move on to item 12, appointments to committees. Councillor Henderson, would you please introduce the report and propose the recommendations, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. You can blame yourself for this report coming before the councillors, because as taking up your position of mayor, you of course do not sit on any committees, and so therefore it is literally a straight swap for you coming off committees and Councillor Anne Turner going on and Councillor Sue Catterall taking your positions. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Peter Marinell, Armed Forces Champion.
Am I still on? Councillor Henderson, have you got...
I'm sure that Councillor Marinell will be ringing me up in a short while that he be appointed as the Armed Forces Champion in place of yourself.
Thank you, and I'm sure he'll do a good job. I'll be watching him. Is there a seconder for the proposal, please?
Very happy to support that, Madam Mayor.
Are there any comments, questions or amendments? No, so that concludes the debate. Thank you.
No, members need to vote. So members need to vote on this one.
Oh, apparently members, you need to vote on this one, so can you please vote? Thank you. The vote is unanimous. So this is the next item of note is the note of the motion. There are no others. So this concludes this evening's meeting. And I thank everybody for their attendance. As this is our last meeting of this year, I wish you well, health and happiness. And I hope that we get through this pandemic and start afresh in the new year. God bless you all. Thank you.